today we have a very interesting demo organized for you. Uh, so Tenjin is the platform that we have built. It is focused towards a business analyst. We wanted to eliminate the entire hassle of invasive scripting and the challenges that brings. Um, and what we have done is built a platform that is entirely codeless, in the sense that in order to run, build, and execute test cases, even in the face of the system under test changing or being modified, you do not require any scripts. The system comes app aware. There are a list of apps that we are already working with. There are other apps that we can bring into the fold. It has the ability to autocorrect, in the sense that if you add fields, if you add screens, if you add additional functionality which changes the user interface, it will rediscover this user interface on its own. And it has been proven at multiple banks to be a solution that can handle an enterprise class requirement from a testing mandate. It can work across applications, across a web-based application, a mobile app, native as well as hybrid across iOS and Android. It can work with legacy thick client applications as well as REST and SOAP APIs. So the beauty of the platform is that you can start a transaction on one platform. You can start it on, for example, on a mobile app and conclude the test case using an API, or on your legacy thick client applications. Um, the application has a concept of bots. These are bots which are pre-built and available. These are the platforms where the bots are predetermined, pre-available, pre-qualified. It doesn't take a lot of effort for us to qualify another platform. And the beauty of that is, because of the autocorrection features, any changes, enhancements, improvements that you do on an ongoing basis are automatically discovered and retained by the platform. Uh, what this helps us do is drive down maintenance cost in the face of changes to a process. So if you have a business process change that does not require any scripts to incorporate, it is something that a business analyst can manage. If there is a user interface change, the bot can be triggered to rediscover and update itself on the user interface. If there is underlying data which changes, you could structure your data usage in such a way that you're going and picking up the latest value of data from the application. And obviously, if there is a change in the environment, again, it is very resilient to all of those changes. This helps us improve the ability to start and run automated testing faster, and refocuses on the skill sets required to build and maintain a test automation setup. These are some of our customers globally. You have Desjardins in Canada, who's just embarked on a major upgrade transformation with us. You have Barclays in international operations, where we are supporting them. SocGen for their China operations, we are supporting the entire automation of their core banking platform. Many of these are on the core transaction engine. uh, some of them also have it on the mobile app as well as on the APIs. Again, a lot of interesting use cases that we have been able to showcase to customers in terms of number of cases, the time taken, the ability to do multi-system testing. So if you want to start from a channel platform to a workflow, internal workflow, and culminate in a transaction system, all in the context of a single test case, that has been done quite a few times by us. Um, so what does Tenjin consist of? Tenjin consists of a test management platform, a test automation and execution platform, a defect management platform. The core is the test automation and execution platform, which can integrate upstream and downstream with things like Jira X-Ray or Jira QC, ALM. All of those integrations are available. We also are CI/CD ready, so we publish our own REST APIs through which you can invoke an execution session or a learning session on the test automation platform using Jenkins, TeamCity, or any of that. We have a repository of about 500,000 cases specifically around financial services. We are also working towards enhancing the platform by bringing in uh, a data generation engine for large complex platforms, not just for simple screens but for large complex platforms. We are also working on a test prediction engine which will take historic values of changes and test failures, and use that to predict what are the, a more optimized set of test cases that need to be run. Um, so as I said, Tengen is a two-part solution. There's a core and there's an application bot. And the core essentially looks at housekeeping and various functions like test management, access management, data management, execution and reporting, and the validation. We also have integration with, as I said, upstream with ALM. We are building an integration with Jira X-Ray. Downstream, we have an integration with Jira QC and Bugzilla. How are we different in the sense that if you take a simple platform, let's say your core banking application, you generally have a series of menus on the left. You would have a work area on the right. In the scripting world, you have to write scripts to discover each of these work areas. With Engine, the bot is configured to discover the work areas and provide an Excel template automatically. And this can be done any number of times, and you could reuse templates. We have the ability, we provide you the tools to move data from one template to another. Um, Once you fill in the data, you can feed it back to Tengen and it will go and execute the test case, including any validations, runtime validations that you need to do. And this allows us to do a lot of innovative stuff in terms of speed. It allows us to reduce the need for any scripting skill sets on a project. It improves the turnaround time because it brings in a lot of resilience. It allows you to do runtime changes of your business process that you want to execute. You could run it across multiple platforms. As I said, we are CI/CD ready. From a demo perspective, just going to move to the product demo. What we're going to start off with is to show you how the UI discovery happens, how we are able to traverse an existing application UI, uh, discover the elements and convert it into an Excel template. Post that, we will do a three-stage execution on a core platform where we will create a client, open an account, and do a fund transfer. And in the fourth step, what we will do is we will validate some of those values from the accounting entry perspective. We will show you the reports, and if possible, we'll also show you integration with Jira. This is the platform. We move to the administrative section, which allows you to set up various projects, access controls for the testing team, the workstations, any mobile devices that are a part of the project, where you set up the business applications, the various instances. With that instance setup, you can set up the user roles, privileges. And when you come to the specific menu, you could set up the various menu items as a part of your application. In case there is a change, in case there's an update to a specific menu from a UI perspective, uh, you could ask the platform to learn. And this is where I trigger the robotic learning, where I say, log in using the credentials of a checker, use a specific browser, and do it on a specific workstation. And when I trigger that, you would see on my screen, there's a Chrome window that opens, and it uses the login credentials to log into the platform. This is a core banking platform that we have access to. it will access the specific menu automatically. So there's nothing being done by me. It will traverse all the fields, all the screens. So you will see it move across. And it will do this recursively till it finds the end. It's finished all the links and screens on these on this menu, and it will convert that into an Excel and come back. Um, this at one swipe allows you to discover all the elements on the screen, all the fields, all the boxes, without having to worry about have you traversed, have you been there. So unlike a record and replay, or unlike a script, this is significantly faster. So we have discovered about 500 fields in 32 pages in less than a minute. It gives you an Excel template to download. And if you see at the bottom, each of the tabs represents a screen within the application for that menu. And there is, if you see in each tab on the top, you have the fields that make up the application screen. You have a legend which says input, query, add, delete, verify. Input is where you want to give data entry. Query is where you want to retrieve a record from the database onto the screen. Add and delete is where you're adding or deleting records into a grid. And verify is where you're saying that this is a data that I need you to check if the application under test has the same, computes the same data. Let's go ahead and look at the test case. So this is the projects menu where you have test cases with steps, and the steps have three panels. There's an identification, instructions, and documentation. You can stitch together multiple cases to get a test step a set. This could represent a business flow or a logical day execution plan that you want to execute. I will also show you the associated data with that. So this is the data sheet which is filled in. You don't need to fill in everything, only the sheets or things which are relevant. We give you a set of 15 keywords, which allows you to capture runtime values and do a few other activities. So here we are creating a client. We are capturing the client ID, and we're going to use it to open a checking account. And this is the notation for the checking account. To transfer the client ID from the client opening to the account opening screens. And here you have the fund transfer, where you're providing the account details, where you're also providing the validations that need to be done. So the validations could be static values, could be dynamically generated values. This could also be computed values. And now that we have some understanding of the data, I will run the test. Again, it asks you if you want to run it on this workstation, or if there's a virtual machine or a secondary workstation where you want to push this execution to. It gives you a choice of when you want to capture screenshots. It gives you a choice of which browser you want to do this on. And if this was a mobile app, It would also give you a choice of which mobile app you want to run the test on. So we'll run this, and you would see that Chrome's come up. We log in. We wait for the customer creation screen to get painted, and we start the data entry over here. It is geared to dynamically handle any number of pop-ups, warnings, overrides. It is not, it need not be predetermined. It can pace itself with the speed of the application. So if today you're finding the application a little bit faster, tomorrow you find it significantly slower, there's nothing that you need to do. It will automatically discover and keep pace with the application. It is also creating the a test record. It's creating the proof of tests in terms of screenshots, in terms of the overall report, test report. It's now come to the fund transfer screen where it's funding the account. And it has whatever warnings have been thrown up, it's discovered, it's accepted those. And now it's doing the final validation of the accounting entry. So, as I said, this is a system which is predominantly geared to be for a business analyst to set up and maintain and use, requiring no scripts, no programming knowledge at all. We've completed the test execution. We get a summary, we get a pie chart, we get a tabular output. We can jump into every test case. We get to see the test steps. On the test steps, we get the results, any warnings, errors, messages, any screenshots.
Now, we're here, you see. When we reach there, the steep gradient, the train slows down. We'll block the line, make for that main road, pick up a car, there. A truck.
So screenshots are available. And let's look at the validation where we had given the expected value and see how that compares. So this is the test case where we had given an expected value in the Excel. These are the actual values from the platform. And if there is a difference, then it marks it as fail. You also have a report which can get generated. This is a PDF report. Which summarizes the test run. And this you can send a mail with this, or if you're doing it through Jenkins, it can be configured to send a mail at the end of the process. That brings me to an end of my demo.
Srirang, a couple of questions. One
Sure.
was, how can we do or enable dual path testing using Tension, where UIs may be different to ensure regression compares achieve the same results, old versus new platform?
You do step one on the old platform, do step two on the, you pick up the expected values from platform one. So you'll have two tests. You'll have one test case, one data extraction process. You'll run the same test case on the second platform, and you can validate against the output of the first one.
I think the question from Uma is how long does it take to incorporate new bots?
New bots could take anywhere between 2 days, 2 to 3 days for a mobile app. And if you're talking of a completely new large enterprise class ERP, it could take us about 4 weeks.
That's all on the chat window. It's open for any questions the team may have. If not, I think thanks a lot, Srirang. And thank you all for attending the session. Diptesh, you're back on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjeev and Srirang.
I think there's another question. What kind of applications are supported? We worked with web-based apps. We worked with thick clients, such as we've done an Oracle Forms. We have done Visual Basic based app. We have also worked with native and hybrid mobile apps. So any of these and any combination of these is okay.
Thanks, Srirang.
Okay, any other questions? We can still take questions on either chat or if you want to call it out, we are open for that right now.
I remember from the previous session, there was a question on language. So we can support UI on different languages. If you're using a translation utility to populate screens with various languages, obviously we can give you the entire UI, and we can then compare the UI values. We can also use the same data values, test case values across different language-based screens to validate if the output is the same. That is something that we could do. We have multiple customers where we are doing multi-format testing, as in UI plus API plus mobile app. It's the same test case. It will go step 1, step 2, step 3 across different apps. We also have the ability to do, to work as a maker checker concept. So if you have a 4i principle implemented in your platform, you could do transaction entry through one user profile and log out, log back in, and validate using the checker or the second user profile. So these are things that are available.
Okay, I think there's one more question on the chat. Is there any software or prerequisite to use it?
So we work with a industry standard database. So we can work with either an Oracle or a MS SQL database on the database side. So this is a 3-tier architecture where you have database, app server. App server could be any J2E compliant app server.
Okay. Any other questions, folks? Okay.
Thank you.
No other questions? Thanks, everybody. It was a great experience. Um, so the next for you are networking lounges. So there are multiple networking lounges available. If you go back to your lobby and through the networking lounge, people are encouraged to go and spend some time and have some fun on those lounges. There are also some other booths going on with their demos, so feel free to go over and check out some of the other demos that's going on. And once you're done, you can go and spend some time with us in the networking lounges. Thanks everybody for the participation.